Hi everybody, Kevin here. Welcome to the Claremont Classic Garage. What we're going to do now is we've got our rocker panel attached to the car. So now we're going to start finishing it. Sealer, body filler, paint, etc. And before we do that, I've got something else I've got to do. Before I get doing body work today, our old original headlights are starting to show their age. I'm pretty sure in the shed I've got a almost perfect pair that I got out of our parts car. I'm going to go look for those. And also our little round fog lights that were down below are trashed. They look like they've been sandblasted because, well, basically they have been. So somewhere out there I also have a pair of those that are almost like new. So I'm going to go out to the shed and see if I can find those things. I'll be right back. Well, I found them all. Look at these. These are like new. They'll be perfect. And the headlights, you can see that's the one I had, and that's mine. The top, it's all sandblasted. So that's good. The front of the car looked great. I have to put seam sealer along here where we replaced the flange on this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And I also have a little seam sealer to do in the fender well. Working away at the sanding. I'm not going to go too crazy. It's a door jamb. So I've roughed it in with 40 grit. Now I've got some 80 here. I'm going to start cleaning it up a little bit. Oh, I got a nice coat of primer on it. We'll wait for that to dry. And then I'm going to put some rocker guard on the bottom side of it. Alright, so we'll let that dry. Then we'll put a coat of primer over it. And I guess then we can go ahead and lay some color on this and see how bad it looks. I put this plastic body plug back in and sealed it up too. So now the rocker guard is dry. I'm going to go ahead and spray some primer on this. And then we can get some color on it. This one I found on the shelf. It's called Near Match. It's some kind of silver. This one here is the perfect match that's supposed to be the right color, but as we learned when we did the quarter panel, it's not even close. I found this one on the shelf at Canadian Tire that I think is a little more like our car. Even that one's still a little too gray, but it's better than this. So anyway, we're going to do an experiment. First I'm going to use this stuff, and we'll see what that looks like. I don't know, matches just as good as anything else. Now, I really laced that on, so I got a couple of runs in it and stuff, but I'm not too worried about it. Now I'm going to, on top of it, I'm going to try this ultra silver and see what it looks like. Well, that's good enough for me. I just shot some clear on it. Now I'll pull all the tape and paper and crap off, and we'll see what it looks like. Well, it looks good from here. Close up, it's a little bit nasty, but I don't care. It's good, it's solid, and it's sort of the same color as the rest of the car. So we can go ahead now and do the other side. The other side, I'm not really going to get into too much detail showing you that because it's basically the same as this side. If there's anything extravagantly different than this side, I'll jump in and show you that. Otherwise, I'll see you when we're done and we're starting to put the car back together. The bottom of this door is pretty grim. So all we did is we wire wheeled out all the worst of the scabs and everything. We're going to give it a good couple of coats of rust primer. And then we'll hose it down with rust check, and we'll keep our eyes peeled for a good replacement door. Just right now at all the wrecking yards, the majority of the cars are every color except silver, which is odd because when they were new, like every other one was silver. I'm not sure how that works. But anyway, we're on the lookout for a new door and a pair of back doors for it too. Now we're going to have a go at patching up the bottoms of these doors. Well, that's pretty grim. She's right through. That is going to require some old school 80s backyard bodywork to bring that back to life.
Always in motion.
Starting to pull the seats out now so I can clean the whole inside of this car. Alright, we've got the bottoms of these doors pretty darn close. I tried to do a little nicer job on these than the door jambs. I mean, it's not going to last for long because it's just a slipshod repair. It's going to start blistering and bubbling again soon, but I mean, if we can buy a little time until we can find some better doors, that's good enough for me. Got some paint blown in on the 3 doors. I'm happy with it. It's that one called Ultra Silver that I just picked off the shelf. It matches the original paint actually better than the one that's recommended for it, like the actual PS2 Bright Silver. So anyway, I'm going to let this harden up overnight, and tomorrow while I clean the interior and get that reinstalled, and then once that's done, this paint will be good and hard, and I can get my buffer out and start working it in and trying to blend it. It's really hard to blend straight paint over top of a clear coat, but we'll do the best that we can and get it looking not bad. I'll tell you another thing that always bothered me about these cars. The license plate just hangs from these top 2 screws, and every time you close the hatch, it rattles. It got some little rubber doohickeys here, but they're only sort of adequate. Anyway, I'm going to fix that. Well, look at that. A little rust bubble starting. I have to nip that in the bud. So first step is to drill them to 5/16, and then we're going to file them square. Now we're going to put seam sealer around the holes, and then we'll pop our license plate nuts in and we'll be all done. There we go. Now we can put our license plate on with 4 screws like it's supposed to be. Pretty much the whole inside of it is out now. Now we're going to give it a good cleaning. All of our loose interior panels, we've got them all washed off with some nice warm water and some dish soap. We're going to let them dry, then I'm going to store them in the back of my truck till we're ready to put them back in the car. I'm at the point now where we've got what's in there still cleaned up. I didn't really want to take the carpet out. That would involve disassembling the whole center of the dash and everything. It's all cleaned up. The dash is good. I'm happy with how it turned out. Now I'm going to go ahead and start blasting it with rust proofing. So this is the gun I use. It's a uni tool. You see these guns around under various names. It's just basically a pressurized pot, and you've got different attachments. This is just a power washer nozzle. I made that one. But here's a flexible one for getting inside panels. Here's one for reaching up around. And this is your long one for getting inside doors and quarter panels and stuff. This is the product I'm going to use. I get it at Canadian Tire. And we're going to go ahead and start blasting. My primary focus is going to be getting as much of it as I can inside the rockers, the inner rockers, which I have to actually access from inside the car. It's the only way to get inside the inner rockers. And these quarter panels. This car has been oil sprayed before. They don't drill them like they used to. They used to go crazy, drill them everywhere. Now they just put a hole here and a hole there and blast it in and say, you know, Bob's your uncle. But anyway, we're going to get a little more serious. Here's another part of this equation. These are the little plugs. Once you're done injecting the rust proofing into the body, you pop these little plugs in, right? So you can get these at industrial supply places and places like that. As tempting as it is to use a drill bit to drill the holes, don't do that. Because on sheet metal, when it goes through, it'll pull it, you know? And you end up with a hell of a mess trying to get a plug in. So use a step drill. It's the best bet. Anyway, I'm going to continue doing my drilling on this side, and then we'll start spraying it. You can also find lots of places like here or here where the factory put in rubber plugs or plastic plugs for whatever reason. Something to do with the manufacturing process or options that this car didn't come with. So you can pull all those out, and those are more places you can stick the oil in. So I've gone and drilled a bunch of holes in this. I'm not going to go too crazy. It's mostly the lower extremities that I want to make sure are protected. So that's what we're going to concentrate on. And then I'm going to get underneath it and use this thing and make sure I blow lots of it into the frame rails and the bumper bars and stuff like that, because honestly, I don't think those guys do that when you pay them. Imagine. So this thing's pretty simple to operate. You've got your flexible wand here, and you just put it in there in our hole that we drilled in our rocker panel, and you run it along. You can hear it. It's all the way probably back to here now. So you put your holes so that they overlap, so you're guaranteed 100% coverage. And then this nozzle has got slots, so it actually sprays 360 degrees radially. So to start, first I go that way. Then when I feel it come to the end, I flip it around and go to the front of the rocker. There we are. That's the end. I can feel it. There, and you just repeat that all the way along, and you get it all. Alright, got the interior all cleaned up and put back in. She's looking good. Now I'm going to put the back bumper on and start working on the outside of the body. We can get the doors put back on and work our way forward. The tail lights and the front bumper are going to have to wait for now because I ordered all new exterior light bulbs for the thing. I don't want to have to be a month from now taking it apart again because the headlight blew. So we're going to change every light bulb on the outside of it. Doors are all back on. This is starting to come together really nicely, but one thing that's bothered me was the terrible bodywork on this side. There's too many little things, so I've still got lots of paint left. Before we call this done, I'm going to have another go at it. Round 2 on this silly quarter panel. Now the primer's attacking the paint. It's going to be one of those days. That's looking a lot better. And now I learned from my previous follies, and this time I'm going to be using a guide coat, because when you're in terrible light situations doing body work, a guide coat is good. So what you do is you sand gently, and if you see guide coat still left behind, it means you're low there and you need to do a little more work. Anyway, let's hope we don't leave any behind. Guess while I'm waiting on all that, I'm going to start dealing with some of these dings on the back bumper. I've got one of those little touch-up things with the brush in it of the right color. Hopefully it's still good because it's about 15 years old. That's better. I wish I would have just done a better job on it the first time. But anyway, it looks good now. So I just gave it another good coat of primer. We'll let that dry, and then I'll go at it with some 320, and then it'll be ready to paint. And now you can see the paint is attacking whatever is underneath it for some unholy reason. Everything is duplicolor, yet it attacks itself. Man, this job is turning into a friggin' nightmare. But I'm not going to give up. I'll let this harden up, and then we'll wet sand it again, and we'll start over again.
$4. Offering this
all fixed. Try again. Fixing the hole in the back bumper while I wait for other stuff to dry. That's looking a lot better than it did before.
Conservative hope in the midst of these turbulent and
well, we fixed the big hole in the bumper. That's something.
Let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video.
Finally starting to get an upper hand on this paint. We're gaining on it. There we go. Finally got it. That was a lot of work. Sanding and painting and sanding and painting and sanding and painting and sanding and painting. But finally, we're in a good place now. Now I gotta let this stuff set up a bit. Then we'll just give it a quick little scuff and shoot the clear over it. Now I'm going to have it go up blending the paint a little bit on this door. It's just, you can see it starts there and it goes down and around the corner there. So we're going to use our buffer here and some Meguiar's fine cut cleaner to get it started. And then we'll follow it up with machine glaze. Now I'm going to hang the fenders back on it. I also have to fix these little two little rust spots on the fenders. We're getting there now. I've got the rear inner fenders put back in. The back wheels are back on. We're just waiting for some light bulbs to come so we can get the front put back together and put our taillights in. Alright, as part of this extravaganza, I'm replacing every exterior light bulb on this car with brand new long life ones and treating it to 3 new wiper blades. So we got this tail light done now. We got the new bulbs in this one. We just got to put it back together. That's that all working. Yeah, good. Now we'll change this wiper blade. Now we'll start on the front. First we'll get the headlights. The headlights go in first. They bolt to the front of the fender here. And then we'll put the nose cone on. So these things, these are halogen bulbs. So we have to remember, we don't touch the bulb part with our fingers. We just use, be very, very careful. You don't want anything touching this or else you'll have problems down the road. They'll just burn out prematurely. It's a thing with halogen bulbs. I'm not sure why. I can't explain it, but that's what they do. So we'll put a new bulb in the parking light. And these are the fog lights. We'll replace them after. Has headlights in. Now we're going to slide the nose cone on and we'll plug in the fog lights. Oh, look at that. He's got his nose back on. Now we're going to check the lights. Parking lights are on. Headlights, put the high beams. Yep. Put the fog lights on. Yep. Good. Everything works. Perfect. Oh, hit the horn. Good. Because I had the horn off too. Now we're going to install the front inner fender wells and put the summer wheels back on. That's all done. Wheels changed. I torqued them. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the new wiper blades on the front. This quarter panel continues to battle. I ran out of the really good clear that I was using and I found an old can of some other crap that I had and like a fool I used it. It never really got shiny, so I got it's been on there a couple of days. I got the buffer and tried to bring it up a bit, and all it did was start peeling it off. So, I have to get some more stuff, and I'm going to strip this down and start over again. Aside from fixing this one quarter panel that has just perplexed me the whole time I've been on this job, this is pretty much a done job now. Very happy with the way it turned out for the first time in years. There's no visible rust on our old caliber. Now I'm going to take it for a test drive to make sure it doesn't have any funny squeaks or rattles or anything like that. And I'll be back in a sec. Well, here we go. Our maiden voyage in the newly restored Dodge Caliber. It still kind of smells like Bondo inside it, but it's nice and clean. I don't know why it smells. Oh, man, I love this car. Okay, I'm going out on the road now, so I'll have to put the camera back. I'll see you when I get back. This has been fun and frustrating at times, I'll have to admit. It's been a long time since I did a rust job. Anyway, that's a wrap for now. The old car is going to go back into service. Thanks for tuning in. Please tune in again, and we'll see you next time. Until then, this is Kevin checking out from the Claremont Classic Garage. Thanks, and so long.